Hello, the purpose of this video is to go over what your syllabus looks like and where you can find information. This syllabus may or may not be the exact syllabus that we're using, but all my syllabi are set up the same way. So while times might be slightly different, you'll still find the information right exactly where it is in this syllabus. So the most important thing right now on the screen is when I'm available. I'll be available online Mondays 7 to 8 a.m. and Wednesdays 7 to 8 p.m. in our Collaborate room, which is in Blackboard. I'm also available other times as long as I know in advance and we can schedule a meeting. I'm also on campus Tuesday afternoons. Usually I get there around 2 and I teach from 3 to 6. So if you're on campus and you want to meet in person, you can do that. This is my office phone number. If you call and I'm not there, whatever message you leave me verbally gets sent to me in an email. So I do get those pretty quickly. The other issue that you're going to have this is my cell phone number. It's for texting, especially in emergency situations. It's to make sure I know something's going on, and we can talk about that a little bit later in the presentation. I sent you an email a couple weeks ago telling you this is the textbook for this class. You can get it a variety of places, but Mayo Clinic, if you get it directly from them, which I think is where it's the least expensive, it takes a couple weeks to get to you. You can read all of these things on your own. And the course goals and the course objectives tell you the kind of things that we're going to be doing in the class. So let's look at some of the rules. The first set of rules is about attendance, participation, and conduct. So this is an online class, and it's not synchronous, it's asynchronous, which means you can go online when it's convenient for you. And what that means is that your work has to be submitted whenever it's due. If your work is not submitted when it's due, it's considered late. If you have a reason that you're going to miss an assignment, you need to get an excused documented reason to me. The ones that are automatically approved with documentation is in the case of a death of immediate family member, severe illness for you or someone that you're caring for, legal obligations, or recognized religious observation. These need to be documented. Usually I can find the religious observation without any documentation, but the other ones do need documentation. If you are missing an assignment or you're submitting something late, your documentation has to indicate that whatever has taken you away from being able to do your work actually prevents you from doing your work. So this is what your letter or documentation would have to say. It would have to say something like, John Smith was under medical care and unable to participate in online assignments from this date to this date. You can be sick and not be able to attend class on campus, but that does not mean that you cannot participate in online activities. So I'm asking you to please make sure this is what your documentation says if by chance you're missing a class or an assignment's going to be late because of one of these issues. Assignment due dates, they're posted in the syllabus, and I'm going to go by those. They're also posted in Blackboard, and everything you submit will be submitted through Blackboard. I do not accept late assignments because once you miss an assignment in the class and you make it up a week later, we've moved on to other topics. So what does happen is that if you're late on assignments, you lose 20% for each day that it's late. After 5 days, it would be a 0. If something's due at 9 p.m. and you submit it at 9:01, it's considered 1 day late and you still lose the 20%. The online 10-point assignments are not accepted late at all because I dropped the 2 lowest scores for the online assignments. So this means if you miss one because it's late or because you forgot to do it or for whatever reason, it's scored as 0 and it'll be counted as one of the 2 lowest grades I dropped. When I'm dropping low grades, I'm only dropping the low grades on these 10-point online assignments. There's 12 assignments. Your highest 10 count. Just to remind you, it's not wise to wait until the last minute to submit online work. A lot of things can happen. Your computer can crash, internet can go down, tons of things can happen. So waiting until 8:58 to submit a project that's due at 8:59 is just not wise. If your internet goes out, that would not constitute an excuse for work being late. However, if there's major electrical issues related to storms that go through the area, then that may be considered a reason for excused work or excused late work, and that will be handled on a situation by situation basis. If there's ever an issue with Blackboard or the university server, the due dates and times will be adjusted accordingly. If there's a problem that is this big and it's affecting the university server or it's affecting Blackboard, everybody knows about it because we get notices that there's something wrong. If by chance you personally are having trouble getting something submitted in Blackboard, you can, right here it says, send it to me via email to timestamp it. So if for some reason Blackboard's not working for you and it's 8:58 and the assignment's due at 8:59, email it to me, and that whatever timestamp is on that email will be the time that you first submitted it. I will not grade it until it's in Blackboard. Once you submit it in Blackboard, I will open up both assignments, the one you email me and the one that's in Blackboard, to make sure they're the same. If they're the same, then I will grade the one in Blackboard and it will not be late. But you have to show proof that you were actually finished on time, and that's the purpose of sending it via email. When you submit assignments, I ask you to save everything the same way. The reason I do this is it's very helpful for you later when you're trying to find assignments that you need. You'll have the course number, Health 311, dot, the name of the assignment, the date has to be year, 2-digit month, and 2-digit day. It goes year, month, date. It has to be 2 digits because if you have to hold a place for a number in a computer. If you just write 531, your computer reads that as 50. But if you write 05, it reads it as 5. I prefer Arial or Calibri font, 12-point font, 11-point font is fine, but no smaller than 11 point. Everything has to be types. I don't care if it's single or double spaced. Either way is fine with me. Each of your assignments will have scoring rubrics, and when I score your papers, I get out the rubric and I use the rubric exactly as it's written. So if you want to do well on assignments, make sure you use the scoring rubric to answer the questions. This is important. All written assignments must be compatible with Microsoft. If you submit a document that I cannot open in Microsoft Word, then it will be late or count as a 0. If you, for example, have a Mac and you accidentally submit it in Pages, I cannot open it. It will be late or a 0. Some students work in Pages and then try to convert it, and that often makes a mistake for them and they submit the wrong document. What I highly recommend is that you download Microsoft Office products from Towson University so that you have the actual Microsoft product and you work in Microsoft. Do not work in Pages and try to convert it to Microsoft. That's my recommendation. The Microsoft products are free because you're a Towson student, and I highly recommend you take advantage of that. Participation you can read on your own. Conduct you can read on your own. The one thing I always go over is academic integrity and academic honesty, and that's expected at all times. You need to make sure that you understand what's in this policy. I will make sure this policy, this link is correct before we go too far into the course. But for example, if you cite a whole bunch of other people's work, but you cite it correctly, that's still not academic honesty. When you submit your work, it has to be your work. It cannot be a series of quotes from other people. So I really highly recommend you look at this. Students who do participate in academic dishonesty or plagiarism, they are penalized. And the biggest penalty that I've ever been involved in is someone suspended from the university. So, look at that. Make sure you're following the rules. To the beginning of the syllabus, and that tells you where you can find me, either online or in person. This is very important because this is a totally online class. Communication is going to be electronic almost completely. So you need to understand I will pick up my emails for this class once a day, Monday through Friday. It's usually early in the morning. I rarely pick up emails on the weekend. This is the minimum amount of time that I pick up emails. So let's say, for example, you have a really important question and you send me an email at noon. It's highly likely it will not be answered until the next day. If it's a question that needs to be answered that day, that would be a reason why you would text me. Could you please check your email? Or if it's a short question, you could actually text me the question. When you text me, I will respond to you within 24 hours. Even sometimes I'll respond and say to you, I won't be at a computer for 3 hours. But just to let you know, I have it and I will follow up with you. When you send me an email, make sure the subject line has the course number and whatever the issue is. That helps me sort through emails quickly so I can answer your emails more quickly. Professional use of language, all of these things, where to get special needs services, disability services. If you need help with writing, the Writing Center is open in the summer. There's Academic Achievement and Tutoring Center on campus. There's the official withdrawal policy, which you need to be aware of. And if you're a Towson University Health Science Department major, you do have access to this page, and it's important for you to understand that as well. Here is where you find the Education Major Handbook for us. The next thing here is that these are the assignments that you will be required to participate in this semester. There are 12 online assignments. They're each worth 10 points. The 2 lowest ones are dropped. That comes to 100 points. There are 3 units after the introduction, and each of those units will have a test associated with it, and those are 50 points each for 150 points total. Every lesson, every chapter will have quizzes attached to it. The quizzes are not graded for points. They will be graded so that you can see how you're doing, but they do not count towards your grade. If you've already watched one of the other lectures for this unit, it talks about the purpose of these being designed as a study guide. So you will be able to see the types of questions that are on the exam, and it will tell you what to study. So if you get a whole bunch of questions wrong and they're on the same topic, that's an indication that you need to go back and study that material. Everyone will be writing a disease paper. That's worth 50 points. You will be doing a presentation online. You will either do a PowerPoint presentation with audio attached to your slides, or if you wanted to make an MP4, this is a free service that you can use to create MP4 videos, and that's what I'm on right now, Screencast-O-Matic. There's other items you can use also, and that's up to you, as long as we're able to open them. PowerPoint is a Microsoft product, so we can open it, and Screencast-O-Matic is an MP4, and all computers can open MP4s. There are 4 annotated bibliographies in the class. These annotated bibliographies are designed for a variety of issues. One is it lets me see your APA style to see if you're using APA correctly. I can give you feedback so you can fix it before papers do. It also lets me see if you're going down the right road with your disease and if you have proper sources for your disease. That way I can give you feedback also. So if you're not using proper sources, we can stop it immediately. And the other issue is that it helps me to help you get prepared to write your paper in your own words. When people write these annotated bibliographies, it helps prevent plagiarism, because what these annotated bibliographies require you to do is it requires you to summarize the article in a couple paragraphs. Each of these will have description of what you should do when you submit them. If you read 50 articles for your paper, you are only submitting 4. Each annotated bibliography is 1 article or 1 item from the internet. But you don't submit every single one. You should do an annotated bibliography for every article that you read, but you do not submit an annotated bibliography for every article you read. There will be 2 times that there will be discussions in the semester. I cannot tell you when they are, because the discussions are going to be based on a current health, wellness, disease issue that is in the news. So as something becomes available in the news, there will be a discussion on it, and I will notify you the discussion is happening. Grading requirements. This is a grade point average of how I do it. If you are a health science major, you need a C or better in the course. If you're not, then you'll have to determine what grade you need. And this just goes over everything. It shows you, here's a brief overview of the scoring rubric for the disease paper. It's more specific in Blackboard. More information on each of the assignments. And then there is the schedule. I try to have nothing change once I post it, but every now and then we do have to change a due date. So this is when everything's due. Unit 1 is the introduction. That's what you're doing now. Unit 2 is history of medicine, disease, bacterial and viral diseases. And then after that, we go to fungal, protozoal, and other diseases that are not bacterial or viral. Test. Then we have the first unit on chronic disease, which is Unit 3. And then we have a test, and then we have another unit on chronic disease and special populations. So that is the entire semester. Everything's posted as to when it's due. I hope this is helpful to help you understand what the expectations are in the class, and I look forward to seeing you on the 29th in our online class. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.